Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to Style Esports Season 9 Playoffs. My name is Shinkari and I'm joined by RareAdam tonight, and we're going to bring you two teams with a whole lot of passion, a whole lot of spirit. They're ready to get this game underway. Spooky Scary Skeletons is up against That Pressure 2.0 in the U1400 bracket. We are in round number 2 of the upper bracket for these two teams. They've gone 2-0 in their first week, and let's see if they're willing to extend that record. RareAdam, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm super excited to see what these teams have at it here. U1400 is always a very interesting bracket because it's very wide open a lot of the time. All of these teams have the potential to really go the entire way, and the seeding in the end doesn't matter as much as in some of the higher brackets. So always nice and open here, and of course we'll see if any of these teams are able to move, or if they will prevail and move on to face Madison Esports Cheese Monsters. There it is.
Yep.
In that semi-final matchup. So both of these teams looking poised to get there.
Yeah, and they did win over the New World Warriors, so this is going to be another good one. I mean, the good thing is they have a bit of a break, these two teams right here. This is kind of the last game that they're going to be playing, like, for the foreseeable until I believe the week after. So even if they have like a bad time playing here, it's not like within the next few days they have to play. They can, take a break, recuperate themselves before going up against either Madison Esports Cheese Monsters or Space Cows on the lower end of the bracket. But we are getting into picks and bans here. We have a bunch of targeted bans here at some high profile picks. Some Morgana and Riven are being banned away from Doopy Duper and Kush Marbles, and Kush Marbles respectively. And now That Pressure is going to answer to the Senna from Spooky Scary Skeletons with Wukong and Vex.
Yeah, Vex has risen a lot in popularity. Senna as well recently. Lethal tempo buffs have been very nice to the side of the Senna, so should be interesting to see some builds come through, but early on, some solo lanes getting picked up. This is interesting considering general draft philosophy, where you want to sort of pick your bot lane earlier, where matchups are not as volatile, whereas here it's just going to be solo lanes picked up very early for That Pressure. They want to get that Wukong and that Vex in their pocket because they are comfortable on those champions, and we've said it so many times this season, but comfort is still king.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it right, and I feel like a broken record whenever I kind of talk about it because we can have the best characters in the game, but unless they are the easiest to execute and you don't really need to like build around them as much, right? Then you're really going to be going for the characters that are the most comfortable, right? And I think Miss Fortune was kind of like the biggest character that was against this kind of rule that we have where comfort is king, because Misfortune is just so easy to execute. Like, you have a Jarvan set up Cataclysm and then you press the R button in that direction, right? It's really the outlier to the rule, but and that's kind of why you see her banned away here, even though very nice, very evil definitely does play a decent chunk of Misfortune, has the entire 2021 season and has been playing them a bit in the preseason as well. It's definitely looking like a good ban here, especially now that 380 carry bans are coming out for That Pressure 2.0. I did want to mention really quick that Kush Marbles, according to Tech4, the captain of Spooky Scary Skeletons, that is their best player, their most aggressive player. So definitely wanting to grab them. A very strong pick in that top lane fairly early. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and I think that it is very important to see what this Camille can do, because we've seen Camille's do extremely well into some of these matchups, these bruiser matchups, and we've also seen them falter to an extent. But looking at the bans here, That Pressure banning out the Misfortune and Tristana, expecting that Senna to maybe be a support pickup instead. By the looks of it, they are bang on the mark with that. It's going to be the Ashe Senna lane in the bot side, which is an interesting combination, not one that I'm too familiar with, and not one that I'm a huge fan of, but of course, as we said, comfort does reign supreme, and Ashe is quite strong right now, especially in her own right with those lethal tempo buffs.
Yeah, for sure. And once again, lethal tempo, like you said, very good. And Ashe, wants to make sure that she can stay in range. But oh my god, okay. I mean, it's happening now. I mean, they don't see the Alistar. They don't see any sort of like really strong like AOE CC that kind of happens instantaneously. This is definitely the team to pick Master Yi into. It's gonna be answered with Sejuani.
No! Man, the Master Yi conundrum there. You see the Vex, the Wukong, the Ezreal, and you're like, hey, they're kind of squishy. And, Vex's crowd control, it's avoidable. It's pretty conditional. Wukong's crowd control, I can dodge that. I trust myself to dodge it. And then you see on the other side, Leona, okay, you can outplay that. Sejuani, no, you just don't outplay the Sejuani Master. You go in and you die.
Yeah, it's really tough because Sejuani also has access to that new. I mean, I think it would be pretty good on Sejuani. The new Thimble Winter item. I think that is a good item, and even the Evan Shroud as well. These couple of new items are definitely very good for Sejuani. At least in my opinion. I think Sejuani is a champion that is a tank that does have mana issues because she kind of wants to be using her flail pretty much off cooldown, and you can run out of mana very, very quickly.
Yeah, some of the builds that I've noticed pop up is with the sort of rise of tank junglers again, the likes of Fimbulwinter Glacial on Sejuani, as opposed to just going for the Aftershock, because you're able to, if you get that stun onto someone, you shoot out all those freeze rays. If you use any one of your 3 hard crowd controls, you shoot out all those freeze rays. So you're on brand, first of all, Sejuani, of course, being from the Freljord, but you're also having so much utility. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention with both of these supports here, or at least for that pressure, they have the potential to have multiple people run that Glacial. Glacial Leona has risen in popularity as well as the Predator Leona. And, I was sort of memeing about Predator supports for a while, but now they're meta, and I'm kind of happy about it. So regardless, there is some distinct changes in terms of rune choices, which I like. They are diversifying some options for multiple roles with that, which I think has been the best part of preseason thus far. Interesting, though, is that there's exactly one straight tank in the Sejuani and one, quasi tank there with the Leona. Both of them on the side of that pressure. So spooky, scary skeletons, they will have a lot of damage, but if they fall behind, they will do absolutely nothing to that Sejuani and that Leona.
Yeah, not to mention, this Orianna is another thing that we have to talk about, right? Because I think one of the big things that you want to do about your team is you want to kind of diversify your damage portfolio. And the biggest place to do that is the jungle and the mid. And they definitely have done that here. But the problem is that I feel like AP items are a lot better now. And they've definitely, a lot of them have received a pretty significant buff to make them a whole lot better. So even if this Orianna pops off, there's a lot of avenues for the Sejuani and even the Leona to take that they cannot really fall as far behind. But I feel like, even if that does happen, I still feel like Armor is really going to run circles around Spooky Scary Skeletons this game.
Yes, I think that Spooky Scary Skeletons have to be very careful about which fights they pick. There is a lot of options for them to find picks onto the likes of this Vex, this Ezreal, this Wukong. It's really focused on the pick potential, though. When you pick the Ashe, when you pick the Senna, you sacrifice a little bit of teamfight damage for more so some utility with those ultimates. Of course, Senna able to have the global heal, Ashe able to give you that global presence as well with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. A lot of what this team wants to do is start a fight by picking someone off and then picking people off one by one. The Orianna Shockwave can help with that as well. I feel like a lot of the times in 5v5s, the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons are going to be a little bit spooked to go in there because of the likes of the Leona providing so much crowd control, the Sejuani providing so much team crowd control as well, and the Vex being able to get resets. So I'm interested to see how they opt to play around this very pick-centered comp, because I can't say it enough. if the Master Yi's in a team fight and there's a Sejuani anywhere in the area, Master Yi's useless.
Yeah, I mean, why was the spooky, scary skeletons afraid to team fight? Because nobody wanted to tank.
True.
That's why. the lack of laughter from that joke from you really just like I was like, haha, the skeleton joke because nobody wanted to dance with him. Haha, hilarious. And then, oh, okay. Give me something. Come on. Like, it's like at least come on. Like,
listen, it's this is our standard Sunday night stream where both of us, in some ways, we are the definition of over it from the week.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
man, it's almost Monday. We get the best content out of it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what that pressure and spooky scary skeletons can give us in terms of content, because as we said, U1400 in some ways is the most entertaining division, and not because, to be fair, it's a little bit lower on the skill level, but it's just so much fun seeing these people put all of their passion into it as well. You can see how hard these people want to win, and in some ways it shows more in these games as opposed to some of the higher elo games where, people just fall back into the meta and it's boring and, same champions over and over again. So you don't see Master Yi in Uncapped. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that too. I think this is a call-out post. Imperial Knights Blue, I know you're listening. If you don't play Master Yi, you're a coward.
If you don't play Master Yi, you don't get any games streamed next year.
Yeah. You can only be on. We will cut the feed. The next time y'all are playing, we will cut the feed. Scoreboard white or watching. Master Yi, where is it at? But we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of game number 1 of Spooky Scary Skeletons up against that Pressure 2.0. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9 Playoffs. We're in the U1400 division in Piltover, as we are in the upper bracket of round 2 of this particular bracket. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by RareAdam. Spooky Scary Skeletons is on the red side, or the blue side, rather, and the red side is That Pressure 2.0. We're ready to get this game underway. RareAdam, are you ready to go?
I am ready to go. I'm ready to see some interesting, first of all, some interesting rune choices just right off the bat. With First Strike Ezreal, pretty good, I think, in my opinion. It's sort of the new Klepto. First Strike Senna, what?
I think I like it.
Yeah, I don't mind
think I like it. So here's why I like it. Senna's Q is very long range. And if she's going to be poking a whole lot, it just means that she has a second, sickle. That's why I like it. In lane, it's like, okay, you have very long range, you can get that. And then late game, you can get a decent chunk of burst damage. So I think it's pretty good. I think I like it.
And I think in some ways it is a little bit more... it makes a little bit more sense given that it is the support Senna as well, because you're not really focused on farming. The main thing that I'm worried about is just the fact that Eagle ADC Smurf has to be the first one to hit someone, and while it's easy against the Leona, once it gets to this later stage where Ezreal and Vex will just be cutting you out, might not have as much priority. But I'm curious to see how this works out as Kush Marble's up on the top side. Heavy trades.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think we really talked about this in the in picks and bans, but that top lane is going to be super bloody. Squizzy and Kush Marbles both play fairly aggressive champions and like fighting a whole lot. So really take a look up into that top lane, because Camille is definitely a champion that wants to 1v1 a lot, and Wukong is definitely a champion that can 1v1 as well if he's able to get kind of those longer engagements. But that's definitely going to have to be where we watch, because that's going to be a very, very bloody lane in the top lane.
And one thing to keep in mind is the difference between their rune choices. Squizzy going for the Conqueror, of course, whereas Kush Marbles opt for the Grasp of the Undying. What that means is that Camille in short trades is going to win out, where, you know, if both of them went Conqueror, they would just go toe-to-toe and Camille would end up winning out. But if Squizzy is able to extend those trades a little bit longer, they'll be able to start winning out as well. But in these short trades, you can see Kush Marbles just able to win out on it. So easy. Top side.
Yeah, here comes Whiskey Lion in from the side here. Does get that little bit of extra bonus. Going to dive on a Squizzy right here. Forced to flash away. Dives back in. Going to land the stun. Camille's taken incredibly low here. That's going to be Ignite taking on to Squizzy. Blood for S1E8. But the Ignite is going to take down Squizzy in the top lane. So it's a 1-for-1 to start off this game. But that does give a kill lead over to Camille.
In the end, actually not bad for Squizzy, because I don't think they have to teleport back to lane. Whiskey Lion's going to be able to push out that wave. Mid lane, though, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Whiskey Lion is now in some trouble as well. He's going to have to back off here. Good teleport from Squizzy to help out the jungler. Stayed maybe a little too long to get a little bit of extra CS, but I think at the end of the day, it's mostly fine.
Yeah, I think that in some ways, if they just get that wave pushing a little bit, or at least have the wave even out to an extent to make sure it stays in on Squizzy's side of the map, that would have been the best option. But Whiskey Line not really burning any summoners for it will end up being okay. And of course, S1E8 has some pretty good natural sustain. Of note, though, Doopy Duper during that entire time was just farming up a storm. Has a 2-camp lead right now and might look to strike on the top side as well.
Yeah, we're looking for a little bit more fighting into the bot lane. The Zenith play was good. Very, very, very nice. Very Evil is taken incredibly low here. It's going to be the Ignite taking them down. They can't seem to find that last bit of damage that they're looking for, though. So Gray Zero and Camilla Tears are just going to have to back off here as the team starts chugging potions and throwing around those healing spells.
One thing to keep in mind is that the Leona into this lane is incredibly strong. You can see onto Eagle ADC Smurf. Just walking up menacingly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all you have to do half the time when you're playing Leona into a lane like this. You just have to walk at them in order to get them away from the wave. And you are to give Ezreal just a little bit more time, because Ezreal, ooh, look at that. Ooh, good burst damage mid. Because, yeah, Ezreal is definitely going to need time to just farm up and make sure they can stack that tier.
Gank going to come down, though. Ooh, good flash.
Yeah, of course the flash. Okay, flash is on to AD carry Smurf here, but they're going to have to back away now, because here comes Doopy Duper. They're coming in from the side here, and I'm not really going to be able to find anything just yet.
They aren't able to find anything, but you can see that both of these junglers are looking to try and be proactive in this early game. Duper Duper showing up there at this back end of it, a little less proactive, but still in the right place at the right time, and continuing to just farm up a Storm as we were talking about. Lots of summoners burned by the side of spooky, scary skeletons, though, which will lend itself to side of that pressure 2.0, being able to pick up this early dragon. So Ocean Dragon going to be the first one gone, and if we look over at what that is, Shinkari, that's a Hex.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do actually. It's annoying because we do actually have to mouse over for this. So yeah, the next one is going to be a Hex Tech, which is pretty good. I believe it gives you ability haste and attack speed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is. It's a good soul to get as well because of that chain lightning. I think that a lot of people sleep on the Hextech soul because of the fact that Chemtech soul exists. Oh no!
Ooh, yeah, Whiskey Havoc coming in for a real quick KO in the mid lane. It's gonna be War Buffy taken down pretty handily.
Yeah, unfortunately, War Buffy isn't able to stay alive as Whiskey Havoc just presses the trigger button, basically goes in with that Shadow Surge, and Vex is such a strong champion when in isolation as well. Talking about how if you get into these team fights, Vex is going to be able to get those resets off. You're able to see that even in isolation, if she just has to deal with one member, really easy to pick up those kills, and War Buffy not even able to drop down that Shockwave to save themselves.
Yeah, it was really quick in and out as Squizzy's looking for a fight in the top lane. That's going to be spinning to win. That's going to be the grappling hook. Shaggy sends season to the Eagles. You know what? I tried to do the intro for Attack on Titan, but you know what? I only know sounds. I don't know words, and now I'm going to look like a fool. Kush Marbles is fighting Whiskey Havoc here. They're going to have to back away. I don't think this Yordle can dive on top of the Camille just yet, but they have scared Kush Marbles off the wave.
Yeah, able to scare them away. And looking at the CS right now, Kush Marbles definitely has expanded their lead in that top lane. You can see about 500 gold, and that's a lot due to the CS as well. The wave going to be pushing back towards this Camille as well. Very difficult for the Wukong to survive.
Oh my. Okay, well, both teams played hard. It was the Glacial Prison up into Solar or into a Zenith Blade as well. The CC was incredible. The follow-up damage was even better. There's a kill in the mid lane for that pressure 2.0.
Another pickup, really well played, using all their crowd control, and they've just been able to take over the macro game thus far. Great rotation from Camellia Tears, Whiskey Lion at the right place and the right time, having that ultimate up, and you've got to be so careful when Sejuani hits that level 6 because she has that instant crowd control potential, dropping through not only the glacial the flail there, or going forward with that Arctic Assault. There are so many ways to get on top of someone as a Sejuani that you have to always respect that level 6 potential.
Ooh, that's going to be a Zenith Blade into a stun in the bottom lane here. Eager Lady Carry Smoke immediately smoked down there. Camellia Tears really coming out huge. The burst damage from Grey Zero also going to be so good. That's going to be an easy pickup in the bot lane. They're going to be picking up some turrets plates as well.
They have dive potential here as well if they want to go for it. Very nice, very evil. Doesn't have that heal up quite yet, but I don't think they know that.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to have to be they're going to have to be really careful because Doopy Duper is in the corners here, and they've been doing such a good job of taking control of this early game. 1.3k to go. Okay, Squizzy, we're fighting in the top lane. Here comes Whiskey Lion. That's going to be the reactivation. Can they find the stun this time? That's good. Can they gift it over to Squizzy? Absolutely. That's going to be a kill into the top lane. They're going to drop down the Rift Herald as well. They're looking to unlock Squizzy and allow him to roam around the map.
And Squizzy's been struggling in this lane thus far. You can see down about 35 CS, but getting this kill onto the Camille, as well as getting the Rift Herald donated over by Whiskey Lion, gonna mean that there's a decent amount of gold going the other way, but oh my goodness.
Whoa, Zenith, that's going to be the Solar Flare coming across as well. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to come across, but Grey Zero is going to be on the chase. is going to be the one picking up the kill down there in the bottom lane this time.
Oh, Doopy Dooper.
Now here comes Lee Sin looking for the kill on Ezreal here. Might be able to arcane shift away, but taken incredibly low right here. Can they find the last bit of damage? No, they will not. Doopy Dooper's now looking for the resets. That's going to be Vex coming in, going to be able to kill him before he can even finish off Leona. And now Very Nice, Very Evil is in a tough spot. Flash forward, throws out the Q. Can they get that last bit of damage? They're so close. Absolutely. Whiskey Havoc is on a rampage. Not even the turret's going to take him down this time.
Yeah, the Whiskey Brothers are able to link themselves up in the bot side there, get 2 kills onto Whiskey Havoc once again, and Whiskey Lion living with a sliver of HP. Unfortunately for Doopy Dooper, they used that Alpha Strike not on the Sejuani, but on a minion. What that means is it'll place you next to that minion that dies as opposed to the champion, which ends up costing that Master Yi getting that double kill. But top side, Kush Marble's in trouble again.
Yeah, Whiskey Lion is back in, lands the stun, and now they're in some trouble here. Gonna have to back away. Does get that physical shield. Kush Marble's not exactly gonna have a exactly fun time in this top side here.
Yeah, Kush Marble's really the only point of pressure for the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons. As was said in the pregame there, Kush Marbles is a player to watch, and they've been able to really continue to expand that lead. Still, if you look at that top side, still has a gold lead despite losing plates to that Wukong, despite losing a kill to that Wukong, despite having all of this attention put towards them. This is Kush Marbles' game to carry for the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons to get themselves back up into a favorable position. And one way they can do that as well is to look for some of these picks with the Ash Arrow, to look for plays with this Master Yi, but as we said, it's all about 1-by-1 as opposed to team fights. Oh.
Okay, they are able to pick up the Hex Tech Dragon, and the soul of this map is going to be the Chem Tech, but the fight has started. Camellia Tears is 1v1ing the Master Yi, but is slowly going down. Can't find that last bit of damage. The rest of the blue team has shown up, and 1-by-1, the rest of the red squad has fallen down. It's a 3-for-0, and they pick up the Hex Tech Drake and spawn the Chem Tech Dragon.
Yeah, and with the camera being mostly hovered over that Leona versus Master Yi 1v1, missed the Camille teleporting in, picking up a kill on to Whiskey Havoc, and as well, Dre Zero going down on the backside of that War Buff, though. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, War Buffy's going to be in some trouble here. Forced to flash away, going to land a stun. Can they find more? Shockwave is going to give them just a little bit more space, but here comes Doopy Dooper looking for a little bit of revenge, helping out that mid laner as well. Not going to be able to find a kill this time. Whiskey Lion just forced to grab that CS.
Yeah, and the Clockwork Woman there in the mid lane able to stay alive from Bristle and co. Give rights to Bristle. It should be Sejuani and Bristle. You know, if it was Nunu and Willump, should be Sejuani and Bristle as well. Bristle does a lot.
It's not Kled and Skarl.
It should be Kled and Skarl.
Who else is? I mean, there's not really any other horse and riders, right? Because the only other one is Rel, but her horse is metal. Yes. It's not a horse.
You could put forward a motion for Vex and Shadow. Although if you keep doing all these and names and stuff, people will get annoyed. Like,
Kane and Rost.
Kane and Rost and Kane Scythe and Assassin Kane, and you know, then you get into too many names. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if and then Lux, you know, because she has one skin which transforms her, Lux and Grass Lux and Fire Lux and Water Lux.
That should be a shirt. You know the shirts that are like blank and blank and blank and blank and blank. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, they should do that for Elementalist Luxes. Oh, and the bot lane, the CC chain is huge. Holy moly, so well executed by that pressure 2.0. Really coming out huge in this game. The Glacial Prison, the Solar Flare, it was all insanely good. Way to go. Holy moly.
Yeah, they layer their crowd control so perfectly, and that's another thing to mention when you have a Senna. Can be punished in these sort of team fight scenarios with lots of crowd control. Ooh.
Yeah, already reactivated that ultimate in the top lane, flashing forward. Hextech ultimatum, but not gonna stop Wukong this time. And now we're seeing the Chem Tech ulti in case here. Yeah, they don't really quite have the vision on the red team here. So they are going to enter the fight here. I think Doopy Dooper does get the red buff here. He's going to use that ultimate to try to get away, but you can't be stopped by slows. You can, however, still be stunned. They're going to be the ones picking up the kill this time in the red squad.
And really well played overall, just going off of the back of the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons weren't able to get everyone back onto the map fast enough, and the side of that pressure continued to put that pressure on there. This time it doubly so, I dare say, as they're able to get a solo kill on the top side, able to pick up some kills on the bot side onto the two other members, and very nice, very evil, and Eagle ADC Smurf just not able to get anywhere close.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be hard now is that as we're getting closer into the as we're getting deeper into the mid game at this point, you know, with these objective bounties coming up, it might kind of clearly communicate to the red team where the blue team is going. You know, where they need to be, right? You know, if and because they're so far ahead, because they're better 5v5 fighters, and because they're also ahead, look at how much armor they've built, right? Look at the amount of armor on a lot of the frontliners here. It's gonna be really tough for this Master Yi, even this the Ashe and the Senna to really do significant damage to this team. They're really gonna have to rely on Orianna.
That's sort of the point I was mentioning. Oh, goodness,
wait
I'll mention
a
it
minute.
again after.
Whiskey Havoc, so much burst damage. That's going to be the Alpha Strike coming down, but True Shot Barrage is going to be the one picking up the kill this time. Glacial Prison lands on Ashe on the backside here. Oh no, Enchanted Crystalera goes out on the wrong side here, tanking up the turret for as long as possible. Whiskey Lion taken really low, but here comes the damage in from the side here. Whiskey Havoc's going to get that Summoner heal, walk away, gets a bit of a shield from personal space, and they get out of there 3 for nothing, and they have the Rift Herald as well. This is that pressure playing nearly perfectly.
They're playing to their win conditions, which is get ahead early and build armor, because this Orianna, unfortunately, only sitting on that Ludens right now, a little bit behind the curve, still working on that tier item as well, but you can see how much armor is built up against the likes of this Ashe, this Master Yi, this Camille. It all comes together in favor of the side of that pressure, and with that Chemtech Rift as well, you were mentioning how it's hard to track the opponents through their Rift. It's also really difficult because you can't always feel safe in the fog. It isn't like normal invisibility where no one can see you. Normal wards can't see you, but if they are within proximity, which is actually a rather wide berth in the Chem Fog, they can still see you. And the main thing is that if you're walking through thinking you're safe, and all of a sudden you stumble upon a Vex in the fog, you may die.
Yeah. It definitely you do have to be careful, right? Because, you know, even in situations like this, okay, never mind. I don't got a chance to talk. Whiskey Havoc with the burst damage coming out huge. Gonna get the resets as well. Goes golden. Maybe a little too soon. But yeah, I think that was just really that was just an easy pickup for them right there. Is now, yeah, they're gonna start stacking those Chem Temp Drakes. Oh, wait a minute. Camellia Tears might have found out Kush Marbles here. They're looking for a little bit more. That's going to be the Solar Flare coming across, and now Gray Zero has come into the lane here. Kush Marbles taken incredibly low. Can they find that last bit of damage? That's going to send Ultimate coming across, which means that she can survive it just a little bit longer. These shields are so good, but not good enough. Shockwave comes across. Camellia Tears is going to be the next to fall. Whiskey Havoc's looking for a little bit more. Enchanted Crystalera gets tanked up. Master Yi picks up a kill on the side, and now Whiskey Havoc and Squizzy are in some trouble. That's going to be some damage being thrown out by Vex. They can't find it. Doopy Dooper is still in the ultimate. All right, they're going to back away at the end of that. It's a 3-for-1 in favor of Spooky Scary Skeletons.
And a really good ultimate coming through from Warbuff there. Able to pull 2 members back in. They get the shutdown onto Whiskey Lion. They're able to pick up a kill onto Camellia and Gray Zero. So at least for the next 15 to 20 seconds, they will have some priority onto the map. And one of the main factors of that is Whiskey Havoc burning that Shadow Surge to try and get a solo kill earlier. Did not have it up and available for that fight. Didn't have the stopwatch as well, so couldn't play as aggressively. That leads to them being able to get a little bit of chip damage down. They've just got to be careful not to overextend.
Oh, jeez. Okay, apparently Vex's ultimate is insanely long range. That's going to be the Solar Flare coming across, but not going to land on the Doopy Dooper this time. Squizzy's going to be the one picking up the kill. Oh, and now they're looking for very nice, very evil. It lands! The resets are huge! Whiskey Havoc comes out gigantic. Squizzy's going to be the one picking up the kill. They're continuing to dash around. You can't stop the Vex. 4 for nothing.
This is what I mean. You can't behind as Spooky Scary Skeletons, you have to be so careful because Whiskey Havoc absolutely wrecking havoc on the enemy team here. Spooky Scary Skeletons are living in fear. They are spooked. They are scared. And they're looking like a skeleton of a team against this Vex.
Ooh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I gotta get you. I gotta
let's go. Let's go. We got it.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay. We're here for it. Yeah, I mean, this was such a well executed play. I mean, that Pressure 2.0 is playing this game very, very methodically. They're playing very well, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. I mean, this has got to be like a pretty good game to win for them, right? They're so far ahead at this stage. They're stacking armor as well against a team with 480 carries. Like, it's going to be very tough. Or I shouldn't say 480 carries, 380 carries and like 180 bruiser, but still.
Oh.
Solar Flare over the wall, looking for a very nice, very evil. Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to come across. That's going to be the True Shot Barrage coming across as well. Doopy taking a bit of damage, but diving onto Gray Zero right now. That's going to be the stun coming up. Looking for the burst damage in return. Double kill for Gray Zero.
And I just want to take a look at how effective this first strike has been. Has gained an extra kill's worth of gold from that. Not bad. No, I'll give it the credit for that. On the flip side for the Senna, unfortunately not as effective. 205 gold gained. So while it is providing a little bit more income, it's pretty negligible overall. I mean, if neither of them had first strike, I'm pretty sure they'd be in the same situation and maybe have a little bit more utility or a little bit more kill pressure. But Baron just going to get started up by the side of that Pressure 2.0. They're able to continuously find those picks, find those advantages, and this is exactly what we were saying as the fear with the Master Yi pickup. If you are anywhere near a Sejuani, if Sejuani is on your screen and you're trying to go in, you can't do it. Doopy Dooper just gets blown up because they get crowd controlled, and even the only real advantage of the not getting slowed in terms of the crowd control is if you get Vex Feared first, because then you're running away as fast as you can. But if it's a Sejuani stun, you don't run anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're Master Yi or not. You're just stuck in place, and with how much damage Whiskey Havoc, Gray Zero, Squizzy are able to back it up with, it's really difficult to make plays.
Yeah, and not to mention, there's a whole lot of champions on the red side that can help out Sejuani with her stun, right? They have 3 melee champions, right? So proccing this Sejuani passive, proccing this Sejuani stun is going to be very, very easy for Whiskey Lion, especially when Squizzy and Camellia Tears are in that fight. And that's what they've been looking for most of the time. Sejuani has been fighting with at least one other melee champion pretty consistently across this entire game.
And that's part of the reason why Whiskey Lion put so much presence towards that top side of the map. They had the Wukong to be able to follow up on that. Wukong's clone actually adds stacks onto... What?!
Yeah, that was a truth. He just got the Muramana.
That was half of the Eager Lady C Smurf's HP bar, but yeah, the point is, yes, the reason why Sejuani was spending so much time top and bot lane was because of the extra stacks that they're able to get from the Leona and the Wukong clone, respectively. So Whiskey Lion thus far, has taken a little bit of a backseat in the last little bit compared to the early game, but at this point, it's just Whiskey Havoc who's running the show here. 9-1-7 on this Vex. 2.5 completed items, working towards that Zhonya's Hourglass. And if Master Yi or Ashe or someone wanted to get any chance at a pick now, they've got to contest with that Zhonya's once it's complete from Whiskey Havoc as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be the 2 ultimates spent in the top lane as well. They were looking for very nice, very evil, but couldn't quite find the kill that they were looking for. So I guess they're just content and just shoving in these waves, because look at this. I'm loving this split from that Pressure 2.0 right now, but Kush Marbles looking for Gray Zero right here, but already taking a decent chunk of damage. The rest of the red team is coming through. That's going to be Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Senna ultimate as well. Camellia Tears is taking incredibly low. Shockwave is going to secure that kill, and Gray Zero is going to be taken really low. The red team is looking to retreat. It's a 3v4. They got to get out of there. Whiskey Lion taken pretty low here, and Gray Zero and Whiskey Havoc doing as much as they can to poke them out and secure the retreat 1-for-1 at the end of the day. But I believe it was, did he fall in the bottom half of the map there against the Wukong? I'm not quite sure, but they're losing turrets in the bot half. Wukong is still pushing.
Wukong is just going to be able to sit on this bot side of the map with the Baron buff, but still has to be careful. Squizzy is strong, has 2 completed items, but Kush Marbles, as we said, is that catalyst that can potentially try and find these fight wins still for the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons, albeit I think it might be a little bit too late for that. Oriana with a second item, Banshee's Veil. That's not going to provide any more damage, and really the most defensive option that she had available after those Merc Treads.
Yeah, and it's definitely starting to feel Batman a little bit, because there's really only a couple. It's really only the Vex that they're itemizing against, right, and trying to just survive in these team fights. Where, like, I feel like it was clear, like, what you offer the team, right? That Shockwave was really big, and you were able to find 1 kill and nearly a second onto the Ezreal as well. Like, if that had been like a Seraphs instead, like they just finished building the Seraphs instead of finishing off the the Emerald Circlet, then that probably would have been a whole lot more damage. But maybe I definitely agree that, like, at this point it's definitely scary to, like, look at that team and not want to have some sort of CC defense.
You want to get as much, like, that's sort of the name of the game, especially with the tank items being really strong again. You can see Sejuani building that Turbo Chem tank. It provides you sort of a mini Deadman's or a pretty big Deadman's passive. I think it's a better Deadman's than Deadman's itself, which is ironic to say the least.
Yeah.
But it is a buff tank item. We see the Evan Shroud coming through. Oh, that was a really quick pause. The Evan Shroud coming through for the Leona as well. Oh no, not like this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I know how to. Do you know how to fix it? Yeah.
I'm at 2622.
2622. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me pause at 2622, and then we can sync up. Sorry that we need to turn the lights on in Space Mountain for just a second, but we do need to welcome to the new visual spectator bugs. You ready?
Yes, ready in 3, 2, 1. Play. 23, 24,
24, 25. All right, perfect.
As yes. You know what? It's always Space Mountain. You know, there's also Rock and Roller Coaster. That one is at Disney, and it's also in the dark.
Yeah, but I know, but, like, it's kind of like, I feel like more people would know, like, when you turn the lights on in Space Mountain, like, the whole allure is that, like, the lights are, oh, wait, no, Doopy Dooper. Okay, well,
the lights are off in Doopy Dooper.
Yeah. We were sharing the brain cell tonight, apparently.
Let's go. All 3 of them combined. Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like kind of like the allure of Space Mountain is that all the lights are off. It's not that it's a roller coaster. It's that when the lights are on, you know, like, okay, something's going on, and they usually turn those on when they need to, like, okay, someone's having, like, an emergency, and we need to do something. So they turn the lights on and then, like, stop the coaster, as well as here comes Whiskey Havoc to stop whatever roller coaster they were trying to do. Kush Marbles dives onto Gray Zero on the back line here, but there's 2 tanks to back him up. He's going to stay alive in this fight. Whiskey Havoc's not going to get that reset, but it's not. I don't think it's necessary at this point. Look at 5 members strong for that pressure 2.0. They got some waves coming in. They're looking for these Nexus turrets.
They've just got enough members here. It's 2 items on that Master Yi. If anything, this is Doopy Dooper's time to shine, but then again, sort of missing out on some of those really important items to come through as well. The Gwinsus won't be able to cut through Whiskey Line with a whole lot of health, a whole lot of armor, and a whole lot of damage and crowd control to return.
Yeah. And we're about to see the Chemtech Soul. This is the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm actually really excited. I think K9 the other night was also very upset that he wasn't able to see, like, a soul, a Dragon Soul. He's in a similar position, but here we are. Chemtech Dragon Soul has been picked up by the blue squad here. So they do have, when you take lethal damage, become a zombie with rapidly decaying health. And they also have 15% increased damage against champions with more current health than you. So they better, blue team better watch out, because there's just a whole lot of burst damage that they can do here.
Yeah, they become zombies. They get basically everything. They also get the really cool green Game & Watch chromas around them.
Ooh.
That's what it looks like, right? Like, it looks like Game & Watch is like exhaling in the cold. Or is like a vape god. Look at the icon for Chemtech Soul, right? It looks like Mr. Game & Watch's face.
I don't see it. Never mind. That's gonna be the True Shot Barrage coming across. Vex ultimate is going to land, and they do get the reset. They're gonna dash into the fight. Double kill for the Vex. 1 kill for the Wukong. 1 kill for the make that a triple kill rather. That's a 3-1-1. That's a full clean ace. They got Baron. They got Chemtech Soul. They are huge. Look at these waves as well, running down the mid lane. Picking up 1 turret, picking up 2, picking up the game as well. Game number 1 goes over to That Pressure 2.0.
And just overall, really clean game from start to finish. They were able to play to their win conditions, get this Wukong as ahead as necessary, and from there, that was all that needed to be done for the side of That Pressure. They walk away with a Game 1 victory, and Spooky Scary Skeletons, the Master Yi pick, while I like the thought, just didn't work out the way I expected it to.
Yeah, it's a gamble, right? Because I think it's similar to the Karthus pick, right? If you lock in a Karthus jungle, you're basically saying, okay, bet my lanes are better than yours, and we're going to out farm you early, and we're going to win, and so I don't actually have to gank, right? And that's what Master Yi feels like to me, because even though his alpha strikes are pretty good early, he kind of lacks the kind of like attack speed very early on to really stay in long, consistent fights. So, you know, it's like before level 6, right? He's coming in on people who are already really low HP, and so you're once again, it's a bet. Like, hey, like this is our lanes are better than yours. And so we will be able to get into the late game. You won't be able to get your defenses.
I think one of the main things to keep in mind, especially with the likes of a Master Yi pick, is sometimes it can be seen as a little bit of an ego pick in some ways, and you've got to be careful about exactly when you're using those resources to your advantage, because in this game, this Master Yi didn't get enough of a farm lead in that early game when Whiskey Line had that advantage compared to what they potentially could have gotten if they just kept farming it out, sort of ignored the rest of their team, scaled up to a point, and just sort of look to find invades onto unknowing suspects. But unfortunately, That Pressure was just everywhere at the same time, and they put this, they put the Mastery in the dirt, so to speak. So I believe we actually have draft for Game 2 already up. We'll see if these teams are ready to go, and we'll just go right into it.
Sure. Sure. I mean, if they're ready to go, we're ready to go. So, yeah.
Looks like they are ready to go. My goodness.
Yeah.
Teams are on it today. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here for it too. I mean, we don't join the lot. Usually we get invites the second that the game is over, to give you a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Usually we're like, okay, well, you know, we'll have to wait a bit for folks to get into the lobby and, you know, here and there. But, you know, these folks are ready to go. So here we are. Game number 2. Picks and bans between Spooky Scary Skeletons and That Pressure 2.0. They've stayed on the same sides here. Let's see if they opt for similar bans. And right off the bat, that is the first ban that is different. They're going to take the Vex off the table.
Yeah, the Vex was really strong coming out from Whiskey Havoc. In a lot of ways, if you don't know how to play against that champion when it is a newer champion, just ban it. That's honestly the best thing that you can look for. And another thing that they're going to do, they're going to take away Squizzy's Wukong. So once again, solo lane's getting picked up incredibly early into this draft. I'm curious to see how that affects how these bot lanes are drafted once again, because that Senna pickup, it looked to be a little bit of a flex, but ended up going to be that support, and just, it didn't really do a whole lot for me, honestly. And the Ezra Leona lane was just a little bit too oppressive for the Senna to keep up with.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be very hard for Senna to keep up with, for sure. I mean, we're going to be locking in a bunch of similar champions here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Kog'Maw come out at this stage. I mean, Shen, Leona, these are two big protect the Kog'Maw champions right here. We could see that come through.
And Kog'Maw did actually get some good buffs with that lethal tempo buff as well. So wouldn't be surprised to see it, but Spooky Scary Skeletons maybe might try and run back the Senna, potentially in the AD carry position this time. That is something I'll keep my eye on, because that would be something, or a better adaptation. I want to see that Senna go for the lethal tempo, maybe try and do a little bit more of that frontline damage. That's really why Senna was drafted in the first place. You're able to chunk out these front lines from such a safe distance. One thing that closes that distance really quickly, though, is the Hecarim, and we get our one of my favorite combos, the Shen Karim combo, where Shen jumps on to the speeding bullet that is Hecarim, dives right into the backline, and all of a sudden it's not just the Hecarim on your backline, it's Shen and Hecarim.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing to round out this combo right now would be to add in a Galio, right? Throw Whiskey Havoc on a Galio in the mid lane, and then once again just throw in a Kog'Maw. Just like have an AD carry that can, like, once they show up to the fight, they're like, okay, like, y'all initiate a million miles away, but like here's like a kabillion damage the second I show up.
Yeah, so that's exactly the point of that combo, is just to do a kabillion damage, but also be able to survive a kabillion damage.
Yeah.
So to speak. You just bring everyone into the backline all together, and especially when you've got vulnerable champions like the Senna, you do have to be incredibly careful about that.
Yeah, DAE, survive a kabillion damage?
I don't know. Kabillion is a lot. Like, it's
kabillion
definitely
is
more than a billion, but
yeah,
like a kabillion?
Yeah, kabillion, yeah. It's kind of close to a gajillion.
What about a zillion?
Good one.
Zillion would be great into this comp, actually. Zillion mid with the Hecarim. But yeah, you were correctly.
I think I like it.
Look at that. Kog'Maw's coming through for that pressure. That is some big brain caster foresight there.
Oh, you know what? I think they heard and were just like, oh yeah, totally. Yep, Kog'Maw. And then they lock on the Kai'Sa here. And I think, honestly, Kai'Sa is definitely a better pick here for sure. For one thing, it is Gray Zero's most comfortable champion, number one. Number two, Kai'Sa in this scenario is actually really, really good. This is a dive composition that is backed up, that has a lot of CC, that can protect the Kai'Sa after she's dove in, and provides a lot of CC as well. So she will have targets to dive on top of. I think that's really, really important. And there's not a whole lot of punishment on the other side too. Like, who's really going to stop Kai'Sa after she dives in, right? Is it Misfortune? Is it like the best chance here is you have is Senna or Wukong for like instant speed, like kind of like quick reaction to Kai'Sa diving in for CC.
Yeah, and looking at the, oh my goodness, wait a sec. The rest of this comp is kind of crazy. There is a lot of damage once again coming out from spooky scary skeletons, and while there is the Zac to kind of provide frontline, oh no.
Okay.
No, come on.
Jesus.
Come on. I wanted to see the Kale come through.
No, I don't want to see a Kale mid. That's sad. Sag.
Scared?
Cry. No, cry. Cry. Kale mid to me is like, it's awful, not because Kale is like, oh, because she goes mid lane, she immediately, man, it's just crazy. She just like gets ganked way too easy, and like isn't a champion until level 6, and then like, you know, they get bullied a lot of the time because, you know, it's easy to gank, and, you know, they're up against a lot more range characters. It just stinks Kale being mid, and so whenever I see it, I'm like, please don't.
And the main reason why I was excited to go with that is because, or see the Kale, is because of how strong they are right now, and it's like with lethal tempo, it's actually one of the best top laners right now. It will beat you level 1. I think Baymax was talking about it on the Plunge with me on Thursday, but Kale is incredibly strong at level 1 now because of that, so that's what I was more excited for. But regardless, we get the LeBlanc coming through. It's sort of 3 damage, or 2 damage, 3 tanks for the side of that pressure, so they're sort of just going to what they know and putting a lot of eggs into the Gray Zero basket to carry on this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, and I man, I don't know how I feel about this brand pickup in the mid lane, because I think you kind of talked about it a bit, is that there's not really a whole lot of anything to answer this Kai'Sa kind of immediately, right? Because that's how you punish the Kai'Sa, like when she dives in, right? You have a point and click CC, like maybe, and we're getting into what ifs territories here, but War Buffy is an old support player that has been relegated into the mid lane, that apparently, according to the captain of Spooky Scary Skeletons, has been overperforming. And like I feel like this is a time where it's just like, hey, Malzahar time. You know what I mean? Like Malzahar is just such a good answer to a lot of what that pressure has done here. Just the point, or even Lissandra as well. Just the point and click, hey, you're CC'd now, is so important against both Kai'Sa and LeBlanc, who are the main damage dealers for that pressure, and also against a lot of these tanks as well. But you know, they don't exactly have that.
They don't have a whole lot of that available to them. And looking at the flip side, once again, it's an interesting opt-in for Doopy Duper here, going for the Zac. While I do think that Zac is quite strong, I don't think it's the strongest tank right now. There are Fimbulwinter Evenshroud tanks that are significantly stronger, that can take advantage of those broken items. I say that because Fimbulwinter is definitely broken and will probably get a nerf, but Zac can't make use of that because there's no mana, while you get a whole lot of healing. And as a Zac player myself, I still think the champion has really good playmaking capabilities here.
Yeah.
Who really takes advantage of that? A very nice, very evil is getting dove by a Hecarim Shen. The Zac, as well as Zac can peel, Zac's not a champion where you want to peel. You want to engage, and it's a tank that is so much better when you are ahead as opposed to behind. So Doopy Duper is going to have a lot of responsibility to try and push that envelope, to push that forward.
Yeah, and I feel like, and this is a very minute point with regards to the Zac. Man, having Let's Bounce knock people outside of Misfortune's bullet time definitely feels bad. And I think that's kind of like my biggest critique, right? It just, man, I just don't know how to feel about it. Because that's why you pick Jarvan, right? Jarvan can facilitate these kind of early game ganks, and as well as plays kind of similarly to Zac. But like, I think the big thing to me is like, if you're gonna pick Misfortune, like, you're gonna have to build around her, right? That's why people pick Jarvan. That's why people play Camille. That's why people play even in some case, or even Leona as well. You know, there's why people played Amumu. You know, it was because Misfortune is good, and she hasn't really received any significant nerfs to her ultimate. And you're like, okay, well, let's just keep people inside the Misfortune ultimate as long as possible.
I think that the Senna has the option to keep people in there. So does the Zac. So does the Brand. So, like, all of these champions have the ability to do so. It's more so the ease of doing so. And, you know, even in this situation, if you are set on picking that Senna, you need to make sure that, once again, you have enough frontline to make sure that when you land that combo, when you get that engage that you want, you're able to get your full combo off a Senna. You're able to stack up. If you opt for lethal tempo this game, or you're able to just stack up damage in general, I just struggle to see if Spooky Scary Skeletons can do it. I don't doubt that they can. It's more so that it will be challenging when Whiskey Havoc is going to be diving your backline, when Whiskey Lion and Squizzy are going to be doing the same thing, when Camellia Tears has the ability to shut down the Misfortune ultimate so easily with the click of a Q, or, if necessary, that ultimate.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. The way that you counter Misfortune is with high mobility, right? That's why we saw a lot of people build Gale Force. That's why we saw Lucian come into play, and Ezreal still being very strong in Worlds. It's like, if you can just get out of, if you can just get out of Misfortune ultimate with ease, with like a click of a button, and then be able to pressure her, that's where you can really shine and really take Misfortune out of the fight, because she'll have to cancel her ultimate pretty much immediately, right? So it doesn't matter what good setup you have, if you're able to like dash and maneuver around it and then pressure Misfortune, force her to cancel her ultimate. It doesn't matter how much lethality she has, right? She's going to fall behind, and she's not going to be able to really be able to do that, right? And that pressure has drafted a whole lot of it, right? Literally every single character they have has some sort of mobility in one way or another, right? LeBlanc has a dash, Shen has a dash, Kai'Sa has movement speed, right? A very high movement speed thing. Leona has a dash, but it's like not as reliable, and I don't think it's as good into bullet time. And Hecarim also has a dash as well, which can also interrupt bullet time. So there's a whole lot of things here, in addition to the ability that Kai'Sa can just build the Gale Force, right? That like this Misfortune ultimate, in combination with the fact that Zac can make the ultimate worse, that like I'm just really throwing question marks as to how effective this Misfortune is going to be. But we are going to take just a quick break. I might have rattled on just a little too long, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of Spooky Scary Skeletons up against That Pressure 2.0. Hello everyone, welcome back to Style Esports Season 9 Playoffs. We are in U1400 Piltover. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by RareAdam. We're in game number 2 of Spooky Scary Skeletons versus That Pressure 2.0. They have remained on the same sides, but if you're joining us for the first time, Spooky Scary Skeletons is on the blue side, and That Pressure 2.0 is on the red.
Yeah, and red side here, at least That Pressure 2.0, if you're just joining us, had a pretty convincing Game 1 victory, playing in some ways a very similar comp to the one this game. A little bit more tankiness now in the top lane. Oh my goodness, they are pinging so much. Can we point that out really quickly? But
where's the ward? Where's I wonder if their comms right now is where's the ward? Where's the ward? The ward's right there. The ward's. Can you show me where the ward is? One more time, show me where the ward is. Yeah. Thanks so much. Hey, That Pressure, folks. I know you're like 3 seconds ahead. You're like 3 minutes ahead. 3 minutes ahead, and then like an extra 3 seconds because of Twitch delay. But could you do me a favor? And if you're listening to this, I need you to one more time ping where that enemy ward was. Just one more time. And 3 minutes from now, we'll see if they're listening or not.
Which they shouldn't be. And I think at this point, because we do a little bit of our own delay as well, it's like 5 minutes. So
yeah,
who knows? If at 7 minutes we start getting random vision pings again, something is amiss. We'll be contacting the admins with that. But what I meant to mention is before I don't even remember what I was going to mention. Never mind. I give up.
Were we going to talk about Grasp Senna? Were we going to talk about Conqueror Hecarim?
Yes, Conqueror Hecarim. There we go. Conqueror Hecarim, a little bit more healing, a little bit of an old school rune setup there as well, with Predator getting buffed and Ingenious Hunter as well getting buffed. I've seen a lot more of that come through, but Camellia Tears, you can't take the trade at level 1 against that level 2 Misfortune. She will out-damage you.
Yeah, it's definitely looking really tough. I mean, the time to go in is now. Okay, never mind. The time to go in was then, but you know what? That's fine. I mean, they're tied in level 2s right now. As top lane once again, Kush, Marbles, and Squizzy duking it out,
going toe to toe once again, and Kush Marbles this time going to be the one that shoved in. Shen deceptively strong early game. I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that the laning phase, Shen has a pretty easy time actually getting to level 6 because of how strong they're able to duel up in that top lane. So much % health damage, so much extra attack speed that you can get with that sword pull through as well. So I think that Squizzy should be feeling fine, although did just flash.
Ooh, yeah, Doobie Dooper's in some trouble here too. Tried to elastic slingshot, but is gonna have to be forced to flash away. Squizzy did come to help out Whiskey Lion in this jungle here, as well as Whiskey Havoc, wasting no time bursting, throwing just little scuffles here and there against the brand.
Yeah, it's just going back and forth, trading very well is Whiskey Havoc once again in this lane. That's sort of how they set up their kill at level 6. They were able to get the Orianna from War Buff down, 40%, and then just all in with that Shadow Surge. And LeBlanc is a very similar champion in that regard, despite Brand being made of fire. Ignite's gonna be a pivotal part in picking up that kill, but Doopy Dooper is in trouble.
Yeah, gonna have to elastic slingshot over the wall here. They're really not giving Doopy Dooper any room to really breathe here. This is really good work and coordination from that Pressure 2.0. It almost seems like they're not like a bunch of gold and silver players. Like, this is really good.
Yeah, and this is sort of what you have to do against the likes of a...
Ooh. Okay. Alrighty.
Yes.
That's what you going with the point. It's a solo kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's what you have to do against the Zac, as I mentioned. I've played my fair share of Zac. Does struggle in the early game. Before level 4, you don't have very much range on your elastic slingshot, so you don't have as much ability to roam around the map. You don't have as much healing either, but fighting bot lane.
Coming down in the bot lane here. Very nice, very evil is taken to about half HP here, but they're not able to finish off the kill. Very well played. I think the exhaust might have come down a little too early. I don't think Ooh, Whiskey Havoc over the wall. You don't have a whole lot of mana there, bud. I don't think you want to take that fight.
Yeah, it might have been just to get some... Actually, was able to get a ward almost on the red buff to get some more information. Just missed out on it. I think that was the original goal from Whiskey Havoc, but got to be a little bit more careful now that ward buff has some... That stacked up, that passive stacked up at least.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think I like that ward more than the ward on red buff, right? Because now you have vision of when Zach is entering and leaving the jungle on that half of the map. They now need to take if they want to avoid vision, have to take a much longer path around, and that's a pretty good KFC ward if you ask me.
The KFC ward, my favorite
new
ward term, but also has the blast cone to get over for now, but even then, they've just been able to suffocate out Doopy Dooper for the last little bit. The Zac is starting to fall behind, and Zac doesn't really do Crabs well. While Crab is, significantly weaker, it doesn't give you as much experience anymore. Doopy Dooper just needs to sort of give those up and look for these AoE camps, try and invade on the Raptors maybe, try and invade on Krugs, but gonna lose that first dragon over to Whiskey Lion, and already that pressure continuing where they left off from last game. This time, more emphasis on the pressure instead of the kills, because they've definitely put this Zac very far behind, as Hecarim should be ticking over to level 6 very soon. Oh.
Squizzy is in some trouble here. Gonna get that shield. There's a reactivation from Kush Marbles here, but Squizzy does a good job of kiting backwards onto the turret. Meanwhile, the bot lane, that's gonna be the Zenith Blade and the Shield Slam. Gonna look for that stun. Be able to find a decent chunk of damage, but not gonna be able to find a kill this time. Squizzy is able to get that pack.
Oh, here it comes!
Lane, but here comes Whiskey Lion and the Shen teleport as well. Elastic Slingshot comes through, but it looks like they found a new target to kill this time. Doopy Dooper gonna get that passive procced. And their top laner might have been able to get out of there A-OK, but it looks like they're having jello.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zac gonna get taken down. They're really well played in the initial play by Squizzy, using that Spirit's Refuge to dodge away from that empowered auto attack from the Wukong that would have killed them. And they're able to kite away from the second half of the Cyclone because Kush Marbles didn't want to go 1-for-1. In the end, backs off, doesn't get back far enough. Whiskey Line ghosting in, using all that movement speed that Hecarim can get on top of the combo we were mentioning, the Shen Hecarim, and picks up a kill for themselves. But this play might not be done, as bot side still more aggression.
Yeah, so the Zenith Blade plus the stun combo is going to be able to find one kill. Can they look for a little bit more? Camellia Tears is underneath the turret right here. E-Girl 80 carry Smurf doing a decent chunk of damage to fight back, but they do have to be wary. The wave is pushing in. They could look for a turret dive. Hecarim is making his way down here.
Yeah, and Zac doesn't have the passive, so has to be incredibly careful. Whiskey Havoc looking for another solo kill.
Yeah, War Buff, he does do a bunch of damage, though. Okay. That's going to be that kill coming down there. Is now Whiskey Lion is fighting Doopy Dooper on the red buff right here. Do have to be a little bit careful. Does not have that passive, like you mentioned. Might be able to finish off the kill. Whiskey Lion comes out huge, and now he's stuck. But actually, it's going to be very nice, very evil who's stuck. The Senna ultimate comes across, but this Most Fortune's got nowhere to go. Double kill for the Hecarim.
Yeah, Hecarim is too big for a leash at this point. Needs to just be unrestrained, and that's exactly what Whiskey Lion has done. Called him Whiskey Horse because they are running over the enemy team, and called him Whiskey Lion back again because they are taking advantage and eating all their prey.
Yeah, I mean, this is, for one thing, wow. Cool, sweet. But number two, it's crazy to me that pressure is playing so well like this, right? Like, when we talk about U1400, we're talking about folks who are gold, silver. That's usually, these are kind of like the average players here, right? Gold, silver, high gold, low silver, kind of like around that area is most of these folks right here. But they're playing so well and making very good macro decisions across the map. This is so good here, and look at this gank right here. Going to be able to follow up with the Kaisa ultimate as well. Going to gift it over. Gray Zero picks up a big pickup right there. Holy moly. And that pressure continues to play this game insanely well.
Yeah, and even then, Squizzy just has no fear walking into the enemy jungle. Senna's going to be able to get a stack off of that and 30 gold from the control ward, but it's just getting more information consistently. War buff? Oh no.
Ooh, yeah, that's a really good initiation here. War buff have to flash away, but they're taking incredibly low. Whiskey Lion going to be the one picking up the kill. It might take a little bit of extra damage from that brand passive.
Damage.
But I think at the end of the day, you're fine with it. The extended engage is a 2 for nothing across the map so far, and they will get priority on this Rift Herald as well if they want to go for that neutral objective.
Yeah, that pressure has just been able to consistently find the right plays at the right time. They're able to continually push forward their advantages when necessary. They're able to find the picks onto the members that they want to. This brand is 0-3, just got that lost chapter, sorry, as you can see on the flip side, Whiskey Havoc sitting on a blasting wand in excess there, as well as a more gold. Let's look at the gold difference right now. Yeah, 1,300 gold up, which means that's the difference between Whiskey Havoc finishing their mythic in the next minute compared to Brand finishing it maybe in 5 minutes.
Ooh, Solar Flare, Zenith Blade, Shield Bash as well. It's a real easy pickup for a kill in the bottom lane. As Senna, Brand, and Zach are looking to roam their way down to the bottom half as Kush Marvels and Squizzy fighting in the top lane right here. There's already a decent chunk of damage by Kush Marvels. Might be able to finish off the kill. Absolutely. Kush Marvels finally able to pick up a kill on to Squizzy in the top lane.
Yeah, Squizzy feeling left out, being the only one on his team without a kill, and now is the only one on his team with a death, unfortunately. But Squizzy ruining the perfect game. Regardless, well played from Kush Marbles to pick that one up. The play's not ending,
Here
though.
comes
Oh, no.
Hecarim interrupting the Elastic Slingshot with the last bounce. There's the Misfortune Ultimate. There's the Shadow's Onslaught in order to interrupt. They've already found one kill. Can they find any more? Here comes Brandon from the side looking for the combo. There's the ultimate coming across, but it's not going to bounce around because he needs that passive to proc. That's going to be Whiskey. Oh, no. This is a bunch of kills going over to Warbuff just because of these turret shots. Zenith Blade comes across, not going to land this time. Might be in some trouble. Does get stunned up. Warbuff looking for a little bit more damage. Can't quite find it. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's a 3 for 2, a 3 for 3, and probably didn't need to happen.
Yeah, it ends up being a 3 for 3. It was just a little bit of an overreach. I think it was a little bit of a missed dive. Camellia Tier still has that ultimate up and available. Didn't use that on the Misfortune ultimate, which is what killed Whiskey Havoc. Whiskey Lion did get a great ultimate back and had the Shen shield on top, but unfortunately Shen was caught by that Senna W and didn't get far enough away from Hecarim, meaning that Whiskey Lion had to walk back into tower, still got rooted, ended up dying from that, but that pressure is still in a very good position, although Spooky Scary Skeletons got a big influx of gold and was a little bit flame in regards to Brand's itemization level there, but able to pick up 2 kills. Now has that Crown of the Shattered Queen, and if we look at that gold, should be pretty much dead even, actually ahead of the LeBlanc because of Shutdown Gold.
Yeah, as we see a new item coming out for the Brand here, picking up the Crown of the Shattered Queen. This new item gives a whole bunch of stats, but the big thing here is that okay. Interesting choice for Camellia here, as Gray Zero might have to 1v1. There's the exhaust coming across. E-Girl, AD carry, Smurf. Here comes Whiskey Lion, and from the side, going to be able to pick up the kill this time. Warbuff looking for a little bit of damage.
Oh, my goodness!
Holy! Gray Zero goes down, and this Brand's on a killing spree.
Yeah, Gray Zero, or Warbuff heard I was talking smack and just decided to go for that play. A little bit too close to the Hecarim once again, and those bounces really punish, but very nice, very evil. Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, the burst damage was so quick that that directed camera immediately panned back to the top lane. The second that she started taking damage, Warbuff too is also in some trouble. Warbuffy is not going to get that. Warbuffy is going to get shut down, and the gold is going to go over to LeBlanc. This is definitely looking pretty good so far. It's actually not a shutdown, so oopsie.
It was a little bit of extra gold. It was a 400 gold kill, so
yeah.
Still worth it for Whiskey Havoc to pick that one up. They are able to get Warbuff shut down just a little bit there, but still 3 kills in a row for the side of that Brand. Objective bounties are going to be available as well, and it's more so for the rest of the team, but Brand will appreciate all that extra gold because they are feeling really good about themselves right now as Squizzy gets a little bit baited out.
Yeah, Camellia, I like this play. I like what Camellia Tears is doing here. And I've been loving this from supports recently. The second that they get an advantage in the bot lane and they can leave their AD carry alone, they're gone. They're just like, goodbye. It's time for me to go into another lane. It's time for me to help someone else out, because I feel like that's just a lot more engaging play for like supports in general. Just being like, hey, I'm just gonna go around the map, picking up the friends. Really sporting the season 2 Dignitas play for sure. Real good job.
And we'll have to see how the next couple of plays go, because with 5 minutes left on that Rift Herald and 2 dragons already in favor of the side of that pressure. Oh my god. They are looking poised to just continue to run over this game, and with Chemtech Soul once again up and available, You know, think about LeBlanc and then think about if she had a second chance at life to kill you. That's no fun.
Yeah, not to mention, I think this is a really cool kind of synergy here between the, you know, all the Drakes have their own little synergies with their individual buffs and their soul, right? The big thing is that since you become a zombie with rapidly decay, okay, I can talk about this later. That's going to be the initiation. They have the Stand United coming across as well. The Senate ultimate is pretty big, doing a whole bunch of damage. Whiskey Lion is on the backside here. War buff 2 and very nice, very evil are going to be taken down. They're going to make them kiss on the backside here. There's a big spin from the Wukong. They might be able to turn this fight around. Gray Zero is 1v1 in the center on the backside here, but we need you on the other side here. Doopy Duper flashing forward, looking for Squizzy here. Going to be snared up in just a moment. Girl 80 carry Smurf is going to be the one picking up the kills. Kush Marvel's going to be able to find that last kill on the back end there. This was a great fight to start for that pressure 2.0, but a real good turnaround by Spooky Scary Skeletons for sure.
Yeah, and as soon as those objective bounties come up and available, they will fall off. So that's how you know that the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons found a good fight. They've closed that gold gap up to 2,000 gold. Of note, that is one of the changes that Riot made, making objective bounties fall off a little bit quicker once you get back into an okay position. One of the big things that actually led to my team's demise on the first day of the season was we ended up losing the game with a 100 gold disadvantage because objective bounties kept falling and stuff. I mean, there were other reasons, but it was like, I think we probably should have like not had objective bounties on our Nexus at that point. Like that's not supposed to happen, but regardless.
That is weird. Regardless, yeah. So I do want to. I think we very briefly. I very briefly mentioned this, but I think I want to talk about this Crown of the Shattered Queen. What are your opinions on it? And talk to us about what this item does and why a lot of people have been building it recently.
I think that Crown of the Shattered Queen is actually quite a strong item. It gives you effectively damage reduction before it gets popped. Effectively gives you a quasi shield bow, but more so for front end burst as opposed to shield bow where you need to hit a certain damage threshold. So what that means is that war buff will be able to survive at least that first second and a half in combat to be able to get some sort of counterplay down. And that's one of the big things on mages like Brand. You need to get your combo, but speaking of that, passive being down.
Yeah, Camellia Tears is definitely in some trouble here, forced to flash over the wall, but here comes the Elastic Slingshot looking to get into the thing here, and they're going to be able to steal away the Chemtech Drake here. So now they're looking for a little bit more. They're able to dive on an E-Girl carry Smoke. Look at how much damage this Brand does. Gray Zero is going to try to dash away, but finds onto Kush Marbles instead. They're going to try to kite away as best they can, but it's going to be really tough to dash away from a Wukong. Now they're back in the river here. War Buffy is taken down, and now it's Doopy Duper 1v2. Can they find the kill on the Whiskey Habit? They can't quite find it. Gray Zero was able to dash away. That's because Kush Marbles has now re-entered the fight from the other side. It's 3v1.
Oh my goodness, the healing!
He's healing so much. Gray Zero is taken incredibly low. They can't find the last bit of damage, though. It comes in real close, but they come out on top. That pressure 2.0. 4 for 1.
What in tarnation was that healing? Hecarim was at like 200 HP for the longest time there.
Yeah.
And just really well played coming through from Warbuff to pick up those first 2 kills of the fight as well, getting so much damage down. Of note, opting for the Winter's Approach. This is something that I'm really curious about because it gives you health in regards to how much mana you have. And of course, Crown of the Shattered Queen, if I remember correctly, builds out of a Lost Chapter, giving you mana, tier item, that tank tier item. You're going to get a shield every time you crowd control someone, drop that stun down. So every time War Buff is able to get that stun onto someone with the Seer, they're going to get a pretty nice shield as well, which means they have even more survivability. This is a really good adaptation from them.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I think a bunch of folks have been talking about how good Fimbulwinter is. I didn't think it was this good. I didn't think it was build it on brand good. So this is definitely interesting for me to see for sure. We're definitely going to see it in just a little bit here, but that is the new mana tank item that you're going to be getting HP equal to a percentage of your total mana. And that means that this brand is going to be a lot harder to kill. And he's really going to be relying on just kind of the AP from the crown, as well as his Dark Harvest stacks to really be dealing damage in this fight. So it's going to be interesting to see, at least for me, because I haven't really seen a whole lot of this stuff come out, be played too much just yet.
Yeah, and I think that Winter's Approach, it's one of those items that you can build on Rise as an option. You can build on Kassadin as an option. A lot of champions that like to have mana. Singed is another option. And then on those tanks, of course, Maokai really appreciates it. Tom Kench, Ornn, Taric has started to rise in not only support, but top lane and jungle with that item as well as...
He's going for it. Let's go. Gray Zero going to dive in real deep, looking for that kill. Whiskey Havoc looking for a little bit more as well. Dashes forward. Not going to quite find the kill this time, but 1 for nothing. Not going to be able to find that kill on an E-Girl 80 carry Smurf, but I feel like they're fine with that at the end of the day.
Gray Zero just pulling the trigger. That was really nice to see them go that aggressively in onto Very Nice, Very Evil. A little bit difficult for that Misfortune to survive all the burst. She wishes she had a Winter's Approach or something, but she won't even be able to proc it, so maybe not. But regardless, 1 and 9 on this Misfortune just hasn't had the best of...
Okay, thank you, Electrocute. Very cool. Whiskey Lions now looking for Doopy Duper here. Here comes the Stand United. They might look to turn this around, dash over the wall, deal some damage, but they're really looking for Kush Marbles here. Looking for that flank, but can't quite find it. The red team is too coordinated. They're going to back off here. They've picked up some turrets. They've picked up some little bit of damage on to those inhibitor turrets, but they're resetting here, possibly looking for that Baron.
Yeah, and just hovering over the Fimbulwinter, if you don't know what it does. 400 health, 860 mana, and then 15 ability haste. Gives you bonus health equivalent to 169 of your mana. So that's, I believe it's a certain percentage, which I think is 2.5% of your mana. That's what it is. And if we look at Warbuff right now, sitting on 2100 mana, so math, I don't know if it checks out, actually. What is math anymore?
What is math even?
It is I think it's actually, no, it's 8% of your current mana as health. That would make sense because health is way easier to come by than ability haste and stuff, which is what some of the other items. I digress. It's a good item.
It's just weird to me because he's not going to get the immobilizing effect. It's for melee only. So Brand is really not going to be able to benefit from that other half. It's really only going to be the health.
It's going to be on the Seer. That's the main thing that you're looking at. Oh, no, Doopy Duper.
Doopy Duper. This is a 1v3, but they're going to have to flash away, make that a 1v4. Here comes Whiskey Havoc in from the side, diving forward, looking for Very Nice, Very Evil. Here they're going to get stunned up pretty immediately. That's a huge defensive turnaround. Very Nice, Very Evil picks up a very great turnaround kill.
Yep, and as we see, does confirm that Warbuff will be able to pick up this shield when they land the stun. And that's sort of the main way that Brand is going to be able to get down that damage. You have to sort of land the stun to get everything else down unless you're dropping your combo with your ults and your E or something like that. But most of the time you're using that Seer and you're expecting it to hit to sort of win out on those 1v1s. So you're going to get that shield. If you don't get the shield, you die. But that's what Crown of the Shattered Queen is there for, to prevent that.
Kush Marbles is looking for a little bit more. The Zenith Blade is not going to be able to stop them this time. Bullet Time comes across as well. They're looking for a little bit more. They have cleaned up the Hex Tech Drake. Squizzy is going to be in some trouble. Whiskey Lion is in a 1v4 right now. Stand United is coming across. He might be able to survive. Dashing away very quickly. They are going to live. They got the Drake, so now they're on Soul Point. So this next dragon is definitely going to be something to keep your eyes on.
And as we hit into a little bit of that post-dragon period here, you can see that this Brand is really scary. Oh my goodness! So is Whiskey
Havoc is in some trouble. I don't think they can stand around here. Very Nice, Very Evil. I don't think you wanted that either. That Ignite is going to be picking up the kill. Here's Very Nice, Very Evil goes down. Whiskey Havoc picks up another kill for themselves. And this, the pings came across from the red team here. I think this is a good call. They're going for Baron.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go to this Baron. One thing to keep in mind is Kai'Sa shreds this. She has 3 items complete, actually. She's quietly built up one of the best score lines in this game. She has a 600 gold bounty, 80 CS up on her lane opponent. Of note, objective bounties are back in favor of spooky, scary skeletons, but really the only thing that's going to be spooky at this point is walking into that Hecarim LeBlanc Kai'Sa core, because they are very scary at this point. They will do a lot of damage to you, and they will kill you if given the chance, because Kai'Sa even built a Collector. A lot of people haven't been building Collector on her, but, you know, she just wants to collect more kills and execute people.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes when you're playing Kai'Sa, you don't quite have execute damage like some other 80 carries do. Is okay, wait a minute, Squizzy here is going to be taking a bunch of burst damage. Going to use that Shen Dome. Can they dash over the wall? They need to find that Blast Cone. All right, looks like they're going to be able to get away from this A-okay. Yeah, that's just going to scare them off for just a little bit, but they do have the Baron buff now. That means these pushes are going to be very, very scary, especially considering that Pressure 2.0 really likes the 2-2-1 split.
Yeah, they really like to just send Grey Zero and Camellia up to a lane. You put Hecarim in one lane, actually, and Shen in the other, and then LeBlanc just sort of moves between the Shen and the Hecarim here. You know, both Shen and Hecarim have a lot of agency to move around the map. Oh my.
Ooh, the Zenith Blade into the dash. There's a Stand United as well. It's a 3v2. War Buffy, I don't think you want this one right now. They don't have the ultimates to follow up, though. That's going to be a pretty big kill. E-Girl 80 carry Smurf. Doing a decent chunk of damage. Oh, they were waiting. Oh, no. They were waiting for the minions to show up, but I think Squizzy might have actually just died there. Okay, yeah.
Unlucky.
Yeah, they got snared up underneath the turret. Yeah, that smells doom.
That's an unfortunate situation, as Objective Bounty was picked up on the bot side of the map, but I think at this point it's just a little bit too late for that. Grey Zero's level 14, higher level than Kush Marbles on this Wukong, but...
Ooh, yeah, the exhaust coming through. There's the elastic slingshot as well. Camellia Tears is going to be the sacrificial lamb here, as Whiskey Lion, look at this push into the mid lane. Whiskey Havoc is in the top side to back up their 80 carry, but it looks like they're just going to back away here. I think this is a really good push by that Pressure 2.0 so far.
Yeah, and Whiskey Havoc is almost able to take down Doopy Dooper as well. Just shows how far behind this Zac is, and unfortunately not opting for the Spirit Visage second item or that Warmogs, which means that they are significantly squishier than an average Zac is. Kind of ironic because Zac, I think the bona fide squishiest champion in the game, at least by the looks of them, is actually quite a beefy tank, but this one very squishy against the LeBlanc because, you know, if you chain down Goo, I don't really know what happens when you chain it down. I don't think you really can chain it down, but apparently LeBlanc has some crazy chains.
Yeah. I mean, if we were talking about, you know, the actual like physicality, a lot of these things like Aurelion Sol is
impossible.
Would not fit on the Rift. Would not fit on the Rift.
Malphite would be the Rift.
Malphite would be the Rift. Yeah, that's also like another thing too. Like Bard is also quite large as well. Like Bard is a constellation. Yeah, he's a constellation in like a barely physical form.
But instead, he is just large. He is friend-shaped.
He is friend-shaped. Yeah. He looks like a My Neighbor Totoro. Like, yeah. And he makes weird noises. We love him. Yeah, goes around. He definitely is the Studio Ghibli character, right? Because he also goes around and picks up like little forest spirits from Princess Mononoke.
And if you think about like other skins too, Bard literally just picks up music notes. Oh.
Yeah, this game, the Whiskey Havoc is so far ahead at this point. 8-3 and 5 with an 11-2 and 8 Hecarim to back you up. Like, I feel like that shouldn't be that surprising at this point.
No, it's not too surprising.
Zac is soloing the Drake,
trying their best to. I think that's sort of a last ditch effort here, as they're going to get spotted out on this, and unfortunately for Doopy Dooper, they know what's happening. They will get out of there. Camellia Tears doesn't want to let them get away for free. Neither does Squizzy.
Yeah, that's going to be a taunt. A Zenith Blade. Doopy Dooper is going to have that passive proc. There's no blue members here to make them survive. So, you know, it was an interesting play. It certainly was going to prolong this game for just a little bit longer. But now they got the Chemtech Dragon Soul. So it's going to be really hard to take this team down. As, you know, they're going to be coming back as zombies. They're going to have little Scion ultimates now.
It's going to be Game & Watch Dragon once again on the Rift. I didn't show you.
I really don't see it. I really don't see it.
It's pretty abstract, but when I saw it, I thought it was funny. And maybe that's just me being, you know, finding things funny that aren't funny, but... I mean, that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Let's be real.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. I kind of like looking really hard. I think I can see it, but that's going to be the ultimate from Brand coming across. Squizzy's taking incredibly low, has to dash away. Was going to be caught inside the bullet time and go down.
Zombie Shen.
They're going to come back. Yeah, here comes the zombie Shen right now. They're going to use the Stand United to keep Camellia Tears alive. There's just a little bit longer. Whiskey Lion is on the backside here, just doing a bunch of damage. Doopy Dooper. No one has fallen on the blue. Actually, never mind. The bunch of members of the blue team has fallen. It's now Doopy Dooper is going to be the next to fall. War Buffy is still alive, and now Whiskey Lion is still looking for a little little bit more, though. Can they find that last bit of damage? Absolutely. And it's an ace for that pressure 2.0. They've got a wave coming in the mid. They got a wave in the bot. This is going to probably be game.
And of note, if you don't actually get a death against Duo Shen, your Stand United shield doesn't go away? That's really weird. That's something. You know, you learn something new with these drags, but great gameplay coming out from that pressure 2.0, and they're going to be able to take this one and move on to face Madison Esports Cheese Monsters.
Yeah, and it does make sure that they can continue their kind of 2-0 streak here. I mean, that they 2-0'd Team Horizon last week. They're 2-0'ing to Spooky Scary Skeletons here. They're looking really strong. Honestly, there were, I mean, and there were definitely hiccups. Let's be clear, because there were definitely a bunch of times where like this team had some hiccups, but like it seemed like they were playing like above their pay grade, right? Did you get that as well? Because it seemed like they were just, their macro was really good. Their communication was on point, and they really did a good job of controlling the early game, getting control over these neutral objectives in the mid, and then playing to their win advantages in the late, and especially having these really good Baron pushes when they were able to get Baron. Like it would seem like they weren't a bunch of gold and silver players.
Yeah, they were definitely looking really strong in terms of moving around the map, getting that sort of those proactive plays, so to speak, and really just playing with their heads instead of their hearts in some ways. Well, also playing with their hearts. You know, they put their all into it here, but really smart plays, shutting down Doopy Dooper in that early game. The Zac just wasn't able to get off the ground and get to that point where they just are a drain tank in some ways, where you hit them and they pick up a blob and they're full health again. Warbuff had a great game overall, though, able to pick up a lot of damage down, picking up a lot of kills. Kush Marbles as well quietly had a rather strong game as well, but unfortunately, Gray Zero and Whiskey Lion on that bot side of the map consistently linking up, looking for those dives, really punished this Misfortune Senna lane. Yeah, for sure. And you know, if that pressure continues, this type of play, I think that they're poised to probably claim it all. I mean, I was super impressed, honestly. And to be clear, there definitely were a whole lot of hiccups here, like Squizzy being snared underneath turret and having nowhere to go, right, and then having to die to the turret, right? Like that was unfortunate. The kind of poorly communicated turret dive in the bot lane. There were a bunch of hiccups here that seem to be fairly easy fixes, but like, you know, it's not like this team is unbeatable to the folks in U1400. It's just, you know, you need to do a little bit more research than just looking at their OPGG if you want to beat that pressure 2.0. It's a little bit more difficult to figure out what really went wrong for the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons, because they did play to their win conditions. They were consistently looking for those proactive plays. They played really well around their top side. It was just that, unfortunately, today, that pressure was able to capitalize on the sort of kickbacks from that. When you put pressure topside, they were able to get Gray Zero ahead. Game one, they played so well around that situation to make sure that Kush Marbles wasn't able to get ahead. And by the looks of it, while the side of Spooky Scary Skeletons still have a chance at life in the losers bracket, you know, Madison Esports Cheese Monsters have to be a little bit wary of what that pressure 2.0 have, because they have been extremely clean thus far in this bracket. Yeah, for sure. But with that, we are going to call it a night. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We have a few announcements to get through. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We have League of Legends action nearly every day for y'all to watch. We have a whole bunch of new folks in production, so we're trying to make sure that we have a stream up every single day. If you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button as well if it really helps us out. And if you are in our Discord, make sure you go up into style links and find our Patreon and follow and subscribe to our Patreon. If you like to see the level of quality that we have here for the broadcast, if you like to see all of us casting every single day, then make sure that you can throw some support to our Patreon to make sure we can continue to deliver high quality broadcasts over and over again. And we want to deliver that kind of stuff to you as we go more and more. But from myself, the entire live broadcast crew, RareAdam, my producer and co-caster for this evening, thank you all so much for tuning in. GG's to both teams. Congratulations to that Pressure 2.0, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.